Okay, so people, if I had legs, I'd kick you. Yeah, I know it's a strange title for a film, right? Especially when you see the film. But it's very interesting. Okay, so it is the second joint from Mary Bronstein. Right? By Rex. It is produced by Ronald Bronstein, um, Ellie Bush, Richie Doyle, Connor Hannanen, Sarah Murphy, Josh Safdie, and Ryan Zacharias. It is co-produced by Rita Walsh, Bruno Vanashi Berman, John Paul Lopez Ali, Tatiana Bears. It is executive produced by Rose Bryan, dun, 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 and Mary Bronstein. It is associate produced by Jay Izon, Lauren Ebner, and Margot Beck, with line production also from Tatiana Bears. So, cinematography, right? Christopher Messina takes care of that, right? We have Lucian Johnson editing the piece. Geraldine Barron and Salome Ugunfus handle all the casting. Right, production design is Carmen Navis. We have Kyra Boselli on art direction. Set decoration is Callie Corin. Elizabeth Warren is costume design. All right, hair and makeup, we have Chris Courage, Sarit Klein, Pamela May, Tashana Miles, Josh Chury, and Michelle Waldron. Okay, so then, people, that takes us to Muhammad J. Ali, Chris Barnes, Spencer Barnes, Natasha Bunbury, Scott Burek, Marush Kubicki, Declan Mulvey, DJ Rostenberg, Shah Sidney, and Turner Smith. They handle all of our stunts. Okay? So then, people, that takes us to our cast, right? So we have got Rose Bryan. She is Linda, right? Her child is voiced by Delaney Quinn. Her husband, Charles, is voiced by Christian Slater. Right? We have got the doctor dealing with her daughter, Dr. Spring, played by Mary Bronstein. Then there is her therapist, and one of her colleagues is played by Conan O'Brien. Her patient, Caroline, is played by Danielle Macdonald. Who is Steve? Stephen, her other patient, is played by Daniel Zolgadri. We have got dum dum dum. Oh gosh, Wi-Fi is being a pain. Okay, so her landlord is played by Manu Narayan. Okay, the parking attendant is played by Mark Stolzenberg. Then we've got Diana, who works at the motel, played by Ivy Walk. And James, her neighbor, played by ASAP Rocky. We also have got the breath worker, played by Eva Cornett. There is Kate, played by Ella Beatty. Helen Hong plays Eva. Josh Pace is Brad. Caroline's husband here is voiced by Ronald Bronstein. The police officer is played by Lawrence Bloom. Vanessa is played by Lark White. Melanie, played by Amy Judd Lieberman. We've got our nurses, played by Shah Sidney and Jodie Pym Gabry. That's our main cast, right? So the gist of the film: while trying to manage her own life and career, a woman on the verge of a breakdown must cope with her daughter's illness, an absent husband, a missing person, and an unusual relationship with her therapist. So yeah, that's the film. And as I say, it's an odd sounding film, right? The title, I don't know, it evokes a lot of different things. It doesn't invoke what this film is, but I'd heard a lot of talk, right? Right? This is, been getting a lot of buzz on the festival circuit. So, when Eva and the people at Critical hit me up, I was like, ooh, yeah, let me go check this out, right? And so this was an odd one for me because, the way some of these screening rooms are, they're not the most ideal. Right, so sitting further away from the screen than I would have liked. So some of the visual cues, right, because people were laughing through the film. I couldn't see what the fuck they're laughing at. You know what I mean? But there was still plenty to take away from this. The film felt like the physical embodiment of oh gosh, the word was just in my head, people. Like that feeling when you're on the ledge, right? You're on the ledge, you're losing control, but you just can't put your finger on why. Because there's so many things pulling you in so many different directions. That's what this feels like and seemed like. Like the end, there's a bit at the end which really kind of sums things up greatly, because she's being thrown back by waves, right? And that's what life can be sometimes, you know what I mean? You're trying to do something and they're just these things just throwing you back, and you're trying, right? You're trying, but there's no headway. You know what I mean? You're swimming against the current. And that's what this was. for, you know, our poor Rose Byrne character, Linda. Yeah, it felt like she's swimming against the current a lot. Like, because there's a lot of things we do not fully know. It's like we jump into the midst of this fever dream. So she's kind of in this therapy session, and Dr. Spring is talking, and it is that kind of thing, right? With little kids, they will latch on to certain things being said by people of authority, right? So you can see how it's easy to manipulate a kid if you keep on telling it one thing, right? It's like those when you go around your friend's house and they're telling their kid that the kid is like great at everything, and the kid thinks it's great at everything, and you're just like, oh, this is gonna be a monster. You know what I mean? Yo, I've seen a few of those. Jesus Christ, it's a mess, But that's the thing, because this kid has been told it is so ill that you can't say anything to it. And what is very interesting as well, for the majority, I say 99.9% of the film, we do not see the kid. Right? We don't see her. Like, we don't see Charles. And we just have shots of like legs or an arm or something like that. And I thought that's very interesting, right? Because we essentially are having a load of, bodiless things pulling Linda in all of these directions. And again, that's what shit can feel like when you're spiraling, that there are just these forces dragging you this way and that, and whatever you do, it's just not enough, So I thought the choice of doing that, and also a lot of the time it's kind of, we're zooming in close up on Linda, right? On her eyes or something, right? And again, it is keying into her anxiety, right? Her lack of control. So I thought that was good, right? There's no slack. There is no slack being given to her. And, when she's talking to Charles, it's not necessarily that Charles is being a arsehole, I would say. Right? Not being mean but it's that thing of when you're not there, right? So people can ask questions and it's just like, that's really not a helpful question. But because they're not there, they're kind of trying to get a lay of the ground, right? When you just want them to go, okay, I trust in you're just doing all the things, right? And so it's asking these questions that you're just like, yo, that's not helpful, son. You know what I mean? Right? It's doing those things. And then it's just like, oh, why? What's wrong with you? And it's just like, gee, like, what? Or can't you just go and do? And it's just like, just because I'm here doesn't mean I've got all the time in the motherfucking world. Like, what are you doing? And so that's what we get. So it's it's interesting the way all of this is being kind of thrown at us, right? Like, obviously, Linda has a therapist, because I think every therapist has a therapist, right? Because it's being able to process all the things that are being thrown at you, minute after minute, right? If you were talking to, say you're doing like 5 clients a day, let's just say, every one of those clients is suicidal. So you're dealing with that. You know what I'm saying? You don't know if you're going to speak to those clients again. Right? So all of that, that was going to weigh on you. So yeah, therapists have therapists. But again, because I think therapists know how to therapy, right? They know how to be fuckeries as well. So I've heard plenty of stories of therapists not being the best, patients. And we kind of see that. And we see these weird dynamics, these weird attitudes. Her therapist is Conan. And yeah, it's a weird kind of, not a lot of respect on either side. We don't, like, there's these hints of other things maybe, but we're not sure, right? It's all very odd, but very, dysfunctional. And then the clients that Linda has to deal with. So we have all of these kind of things, right? And then it's just trying to do things for the daughter. But the daughter is, I ain't gonna lie. Watching this film, I'm thinking, yeah, if the daughter dies, that would be all right. The daughter's so fucking irritating. Oh my days. Like with the pet and just everything. Jesus Christ, the daughter is just insane. But again, right, you've seen kids like that. So it's not like, oh, this is so unrealistic. It's just like, Jesus Christ. It's just one of them where you're just like, yo, you would hope that you didn't have a kid like that. You know what I mean? You would hope you didn't have a kid like that. So all of these elements work very well. Like, the James and Diane character working at the motel. Now, because I couldn't really see a lot of the finer detail of things like facial expressions, all of that kind of jazz, I'm not quite sure if anything had happened to rile up Diana, right? But, again, you've come across people like her, right? The James situation is kind of realistic because, it's sometimes you watch these things and someone meets someone and instantly they're friends. And it's just like, yo, that's a rare thing, right? That don't happen all the time, right? You have these weird kind of interactions with people. That's more realistic. And this is a weird interaction, right? And because I couldn't really see, I wasn't able to kind of get what happened with James and the whole. Unfortunately, from the reaction of everyone in the room, yeah, it was, but I didn't see it, right? And then some of the other stuff with the whole, I wasn't able to see. So there are things going on and you're just like, is this kind of a fever dream? Right? Is this a reality? Like with the tube situation. Now, obviously, she did what she did, but did it take as long as it took? You know what I'm saying? So we're not quite sure, but it's all of this crazy, right? All of this is wrapped up into Linda's day to day, right? And just all the things, as I say, pulling her in very crazy directions. I did think the cast did a very good job, right? I thought the performances were strong. And I felt that the script, like the interactions did feel like, obviously, right? This is kind of hyped, right? It's this lucid, as I say, kind of, spiral out of control. So there is some craziness, but when you take all of that into consideration and everything else, like, these did feel like honest interactions with everyone. So I thought the script and everything, the camera work, just all of these things worked very well. Right? Um, this is one of them films where I don't know if you enjoy it, but you're there for the ride, right? You are there for it. And, it's when you're talking with people and they're like, yo, I ain't seen a film that, really fucks with your anxiety and just shows a certain situation. And you'd be like, yo, if I had legs, I'd kick you. You need to watch that one, right? It's one of those ones that you will recommend for the performances, right? For the delivery, for the production. But you're not going to be like, I enjoyed the fuck out of that. I don't know, maybe some of you just like that roller coaster, you know what I'm saying? Right? Maybe some of you like that. It's kind of like the therapy postnatal depression uncut gems. You know what I'm saying? That's what this kind of is. But yes, very good performances, a very interesting take on just like anxiety, manipulation, therapy, right? Child illness, all of these kind of things. So, if that's your bag, people, then, go take a look at If I've Had Legs, I'll Kick You. And if you have any inclination why it's called that, hey, hit me up and let me know, because I have no motherfucking clue.